As students return to school, educators are about to be faced with a growing wave of AI-generated content being presented as their homework. That presents some pretty big headaches for teachers on the lookout for plagiarism. Our next guest runs Turnitin. That is a company that's focused on academic integrity solutions. Yeah, catching cheaters, that means. It rolled out a new AI detection service a few months ago. Joining us right now is Turnitin CEO and President Chris Caren. And Chris, I've been worried myself about how schools are going to know who's cheating using GPT. How are you guys trying to detect this?
Great to be here. So first of all, I'd say the biggest thing we try to do is prevent students from taking shortcuts in the first place. Historically, when schools license our software to check for plagiarism from the internet or from other student work, about 1 in 10 papers is highly suspicious. Once our software is implemented, It tends to drop by at least half. So about 1 in 20 papers, or 5%. We are seeing students use ChatGPT quite extensively for doing research, for getting virtual tutoring help. And to your question, it is showing up in student essays. Our detector was launched about 6 months ago. Since then, we've had about 75 million student submissions, and about 20% have some level of AI writing in their essays. And about 3% are largely 100% written by ChatGPT. So it is a phenomenon, new use case for students to either get help with their essays or in some cases take shortcuts, which are considered misconduct.
You know, that's what I'm trying to figure out, what the difference is between the two. And I think it's a question that's not easily answered. We had the American University president on yesterday, and she didn't give a great answer on it. When is it cheating? And when is it just doing research? And by the way, this isn't just new with AI. This is what people have been doing with Wikipedia, with Google, with stuff for a long time. When does it cross that line into absolute plagiarism? And this is something that's going to get you kicked out of school, get an F in the course, ruin your career down the road?
Yeah, so we leave it up to the educator to decide what is over the line versus not. I can say when the essay is 80% or plus ChatGPT authored, it's clearly misconduct, and that does happen, like I said, about 1 out of 30 times. But some level of AI involvement in the essay, most educators say is okay. To be honest, when students graduate college and go in the workforce, educators expect students to know how to use AI in their writing, in their computer programming assignments, et cetera. So in general, some level of AI in student writing is considered okay, but when the entire paper, most of the paper, especially the core sections on conclusions, critical thinking, is AI generated, that's misconduct in the eyes of most educators.
What educators are using you? Is this high school? Is this college? Is this
Yeah, so we started out in college. Majority of U.S. college students use our software. We also have a big presence in high schools. About half the high schools in the U.S. use our software as well, and we're quite global. So I'd say majority of universities around the world use our software to ensure integrity of student writing, of test taking, et cetera.
The numbers that you quoted before, that maybe 1 in 10 papers was using some form of plagiarism before your software was implemented, then it dropped by half.
Right.
I mean, has cheating increased with everybody having access to Wikipedia? Has it increased with ChatGPT? Or is this something that's been a constant sort of stream out there, like the old school getting somebody else to write your paper and turning it in?
Yeah, so early days with students coming off the internet, and the frequency has been basically steady, to your question. It evolved into students recycling other students' work thanks to cheat sites and social networks. It evolved recently into students hiring folks online to write their essays for them. So it's original, but it's just not them. And AI is kind of the new way students, in cases, cut corners. In general, the problem increased during the COVID return to home-based learning. It's come down since then, but it's a stable issue. Again, we focus on deterrent versus detection and student punishment. But the interesting thing about ChatGPT is it's not replacing traditional forms of plagiarism. It's an additive form of misconduct. So where pre-ChatGPT, call it 5% of papers were likely plagiarized, that 5% has gone to 8%, and that additional 3% is AI being used to write the student paper for them.
Chris, what's lost when students don't learn to write well? I mean, I've got my opinions. There's clarity of thought when you got to boil something down, communicate it clearly. I think a lot of people think, well, you know, if it gets communicated, if the ideas, if you're prompted correctly, that's something. But can you articulate what you think gets lost when the computers are doing the writing?
Yeah, no, it's a very, very timely question. I'd say people, again, will use AI to improve the clarity of their writing to be even more coherent and high quality. But writing is the core way you demonstrate critical thinking skills, communication skills, argumentative skills. So it's super important for students who want to be successful in the workforce to use writing as a form of developing thinking skills and communication skills. If you outsource that to AI, in the end, you're just cheating yourself. But I believe, and educators I talk to believe, writing is a core way to express and develop thinking skills, which are one of the top things the workplace looks for in college graduates.
Chris, the schools that don't use you, is it because the service is just too expensive?
No, our service costs less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks per student per year. So it's not expensive software. Some schools believe their honor code is all they need. That's a very small subset. Some in high school have bigger problems to solve, like just getting kids to come to class and turn in their work. But in general, vast majority of universities use software like ours, and more high schools as well. Again, the goal is not to catch and punish students, but to encourage original work from the outset.